From massive custom wreckers to viral recovery jobs, Rick Murphy looked like he was living the dream. Big trucks, loyal fans, and a business that seemed to grow bigger every year. But behind the roaring engines and dramatic rescues, there's a side of the story most viewers never see. Running a recovery empire isn't just about horsepower and headlines, it's about pressure, risk, and decisions that can change everything. So what really happened to the luxurious life people believed Rick Murphy was living? And why did that image start to crack when the cameras weren't rolling? Before the fame, Rick Murphy was simply a skilled operator with a passion for diesel engines and recovery work. Murphy's Diesel began as a hard-working, family-run operation built on long hours, mechanical skill, and a willingness to take on jobs other companies wouldn't touch. Those early days weren't glamorous. They were gritty, unpredictable, and physically exhausting. But things began to change when recovery videos started appearing online. Viewers were drawn to the sheer scale of the jobs, massive trucks buried in mud, dangerous terrain, and recoveries that looked almost impossible. Rick's calm attitude under pressure and hands-on approach made him stand out. The channel grew, the audience expanded, and Murphy's Diesel quickly became a recognizable name among diesel enthusiasts. With that growth came the image people saw from the outside: powerful trucks, large equipment, and what looked like a thriving high-energy lifestyle. To many viewers, it seemed like Rick had built not just a business, but a dream life fueled by engines and adrenaline. But what most people didn't realize was that rapid growth can bring challenges just as fast. And the bigger the operation became, the higher the stakes climbed. The trucks seen in recovery videos aren't just vehicles. They're investments that can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to build, maintain, and repair. Tires alone can cost more than most people expect, and heavy equipment requires constant servicing to stay operational. Every recovery also carries risks: damage to equipment, unexpected breakdowns, or jobs that take far longer than planned. Custom builds added another layer of pressure. Viewers love bigger, more extreme machines, and creating those projects requires time, skilled labor, and a steady flow of money. From the outside, these builds look exciting and rewarding. Behind the scenes, they can be stressful logistical puzzles where delays and costs stack up quickly. There's also the reality of free or discounted recoveries. Helping stranded drivers earned Rick respect and loyalty, but those jobs don't always pay the bills. Fuel, manpower, and wear on equipment still add up, whether a job is profitable or not. To viewers, it looked like success on display. But beneath that image was a constant balancing act keeping the business running while trying to meet growing expectations. And that balancing act didn't just affect finances, it started to affect daily life in ways fans rarely considered. Recovery work doesn't follow a schedule. Calls can come in the middle of the night, during holidays, or in extreme weather. Jobs often involve hours of driving, planning, and physically demanding work in rough conditions. Filming content on top of that adds another layer of effort setting up cameras, capturing footage, and managing the online side of the business. Running a company means more than turning wrenches. There are employees to manage, customers to satisfy, paperwork to handle, and equipment to maintain. The responsibility doesn't stop when the cameras turn off. In fact, that's often when the real work begins. Fans sometimes noticed hints of exhaustion in longer projects or delayed uploads, and online discussions began speculating about the toll such a lifestyle can take. While no one outside the business sees the full picture, it's easy to imagine how relentless the pace must be. The truth is, what looks like an exciting, high-energy career can also be physically draining and mentally demanding. But the pressure wasn't just about long hours or hard work. Some of the toughest challenges came from the unpredictable nature of the industry itself. In heavy recovery, no two jobs are the same. Every situation carries uncertainty, and even experienced operators can face unexpected complications. A snapped cable, a mechanical failure, or unstable terrain can turn a routine job into a costly problem within minutes. Large fabrication projects come with their own risks. Building extreme equipment pushes engineering limits, and when something doesn't work as planned, the time and money required to fix it can be significant. Delays stretch timelines, budgets grow, and the pressure to finish builds intensifies. There's also the reality that not every job is profitable. Some recoveries require hours of effort for relatively small returns, and others may barely break even after expenses. Over time, those margins matter. Viewers often see the successful recoveries the moment when a stuck vehicle finally moves or a build rolls out of the shop. What they rarely see are the setbacks, the repairs, or the difficult decisions made along the way. And slowly, those realities began to change how people viewed the so-called luxurious lifestyle, because fans started noticing subtle shifts that hinted at a more complicated story. As time went on, some viewers began to pick up on small changes. Upload schedules shifted, large projects took longer to complete, and the tone in certain videos felt more focused on the grind than the excitement. None of this was dramatic or sudden, but gradual changes often tell the biggest stories. Online communities started discussing the realities of running a recovery business. Some speculated about rising costs, others talked about burnout, and many pointed out how physically demanding the work must be year after year. These conversations weren't based on confirmed details, but they reflected a growing awareness among fans that the lifestyle wasn't as effortless as it appeared. What became clear was that the image of constant luxury never matched the day-to-day reality of the job. Big trucks and dramatic rescues make great footage, but they don't show the stress of keeping everything running smoothly behind the scenes. Still, despite the challenges, the business didn't disappear. The trucks kept running, the builds continued, and Rick remained committed to the work. And that persistence leads to the final part of the story, where things stand now and what the journey really reveals. Today, Rick Murphy is still known for recovery work, fabrication, and the relentless pace of running a demanding operation. The trucks are still there, the equipment still rolls out, and the jobs still push the limits of what heavy recovery can do. But the story looks different when you understand what it takes to maintain all of it. The truth is, the luxurious life many people imagined was never really luxury at all. It was long nights, mechanical challenges, financial risks, and constant pressure to keep moving forward. The highlight moments, the dramatic recoveries, and finished builds were only a small part of a much larger reality. For many fans, that realization changed how they saw the videos. Instead of just entertainment, they began to see the grit, the persistence, and the determination behind every job. And maybe that's the real story here. Success doesn't always look the way people expect. Sometimes it's loud, messy, and exhausting. Sometimes it's waking up every day and pushing forward, even when the odds aren't easy. Because in the end, the real measure of success isn't the luxury people think they see. It's the work you keep showing up to do.